If you have delegated a task to your employees and yet they're still coming to you for questions, then watch this video. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my process on how I give feedback to SOPs and how to easily create them so that way you can have SOPs in your business, but they also create clarity and answer all the questions that your employees have so they can own the responsibility, they can own the job, and you can start stepping out of the day-to-day operations. Hey, I'm Liz Chisholm, and I help contractors just like yourself grow their business. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I collaborate on SOPs. Now, I call this Google collaboration. We open up a Google Doc, we have the process written down, and then I start asking questions based off of this SOP. Now, how do you even get to this point of having an SOP? Because probably a lot of you have a blank piece of paper in front of you and aspirations to have SOPs in your business. So this particular contractor, all they did was open up their phone to Wave AI and walk through and talk out loud the entire process for doing payroll in their business. They're about ready to hire an office coordinator. And so the part of the responsibilities of that office coordinator is to do payroll. And so once he recorded the entire thing, it spit out an SOP for him and he just copied and pasted it in here. That's how easy it is. Now, that's just the first step. A lot of times we just throw this to our employees and hope that they understand everything that we're saying. However, most of the time there's still context, there's still decision making, and there's still nuances that are missing to create this SOP. Now, I'm going to actually walk through this entire SOP. I need to give feedback on him. So I figured I would just record this video and let you see my process. I have not actually read this SOP, so you're going to get the raw version of me recording this feedback. So first of all, I'm going to see that payroll is processed every other Monday. That's fine. I personally prefer payroll to be processed on the 5th and the 20th, or something that's very specific and it's very predictable. However, because this is every other Monday, it still works. That's just my preference. I'm going to leave it right here. Payday is every other Wednesday, and the deadline for tracking submission is 9 a.m. every Monday. Now, I'm going to just ask a question here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Control Alt M, or there's even a little comment button up here. So now I'm going to ask, hey, from the beginning, how accurate is it? Are they actually submitting their hours? Because if they're not, it's going to create a lot more work here. And we got to go fix those other processes so that way this is streamlined. So I'm just going to comment here. Now I'm going to next go over here. Okay, they're using job on scheduled Mondays. Locate the payroll tab. Okay, this is pretty self-explanatory. One thing I do want to comment on though too is that you can add walkthroughs of this using Loom. If anything is on the computer, you want to be able to screen record like I am in this video right now. I'm screen recording what that walkthrough looks like. And then you can take that transcript and put it into ChatGPT to spit out a entire SOP just for you. But for right now, this works. You can also have links. So let's say there's special circumstances. You can say, hey, this is what it looks like when somebody has a sick time. This is what it looks like when somebody has paid time off. This is what it looks like when, and you can have all those scenarios in specific videos. And so this is why you should start recording yourself doing anything on the computer via Loom. So that way you already have all those training videos. And once you have enough training videos, you realize, wow, that's a lot of stuff that I can delegate. And I already have all the training videos. I already have everything set up. I already have all the SOPs done for me to hire somebody. And you can hire somebody and train somebody up to speed just like that. So now there's the approval process. Click on timesheets, select approve timesheets in the up corner, review employee hours. This is a very dense to do. Review hours. What are you exactly supposed to look at? What's the target numbers? What are the things that would make it not right or make it right? And so this is what we have to put there. I'm asking the question, so what exactly are they reviewing? What should the hours be? What should I see if something was out of the ordinary? When should I contact the owner about our discrepancies? These all have to be answered within an SOP because most of the time, something is not going to look right. And this is where you're going to get the questions. And this is where you're going to get nagged all the time. And this is where you're going to be constantly pulled back into the business. And you're not going to actually hand off the ownership of this. These are the types of questions that I ask my clients when I'm reviewing their SOPs so their processes actually work. So I'm going to just go that, and I'm going to keep going. For example, payday, the week's covered. That's great. Ensure all recorded hours are correct. Okay, so it says look for discrepancies, but I don't really know what that means. So this is, again, where we really want to define what that means. What does it actually look like? Because when you start realizing that there are standards in your own mind and they're not communicated in the SOP, this is where SOPs end up not working. This is where your employees constantly asking you questions. This is where you end up just like, let me do it myself. I can get it done in 5 minutes, because there's decisions that you're making that you're not communicating to your employees. So we're going to keep going on. I'm going to just ask this question. This is, what does this mean? If somebody is supposed to be at the job site at 8 o'clock every morning and they're clocking in at 8:30, if I'm the one taking over this SOP and now I have ownership of it, that communication needs to go to the owner of, hey, this person's late every single morning. Maybe that's a communication that the owner had with the employee, and then it's totally fine. But these are the types of questions that need to be answered in order for an SOP to be so solid that it will actually take responsibilities off your plate, free you up, and grow your business. So I'm going to keep that one there. Let's keep going. So I'm going to ask this question right here. How would they know if hours are missing? So I'm going to just comment there. Okay, special considerations. Obviously, you've got salary employees, so that's going to be a little bit different. Anytime you have a salary employee, you have to make sure that they are reporting on performance and not just willy-nilly working for work's sake. And well, their salary, so can't really measure what they're doing. And so this is where they need to be reporting on the results that they are getting based off the hours that they are working. Payroll submission is not required. They're going to get paid regardless. Okay, let's go down here. This is pretty good. Now we have here that they need to communicate with employees, but there also could be a question of, let's say an employee missed a certain amount of hours. When do they contact the owner based off those hours missed? So I just put down, hey, when is it appropriate to contact the owner based on discrepancies in the timesheet? Let's say there's employees that are constantly not clocking in, and then the office coordinator is saying, hey, what's going on? Like, did you work this day? Oh, yeah, I worked today. How many hours? Oh, yeah, 8 hours. And then they just clock them in for 8 hours, and you're paying 8 hours. And maybe they actually only work 2 or 3, and they're trying to just milk the system. So this is why we have to have safeguards in place. And so it's like, okay, when is it appropriate to contact the owner? Maybe they got to a job site and they were there at 8 o'clock, but it's 10 o'clock and they remember to clock in. Okay, well, you can see that the job got done. It's pretty obviously that they were there. They just forgot to clock in. Okay, 2 hours, not a big deal. But a whole day, maybe a whole day's missed, 8 hours, that's maybe when the owner needs to be contacted. These are examples of how you can make this SOP stronger and how you can really give ownership to the office coordinator or whoever's doing that SOP based off the clarity that you create within the SOP. I'm just going to comment here. Now, obviously, this SOP is done. However, there is one more piece that most people forget, and it is the Google Doc collaboration is what I call it. And so anytime there's a system that's not working, instead of just having a meeting saying, okay, we actually need to do it this way versus that way, no. You pull up this SOP and go, okay, what is it on this SOP that's not working? Then you can go through this and create an extra step or modify a step or add a note or add clarification or add a video or whatever it is that needs to happen on this SOP. So instead of having a separate meeting, this is the agenda for the meeting. Say, hey, this is something's not working right. The SOP isn't working. And so therefore you look at the SOP. Now I do this with my virtual assistants all the time because I'm not going to jump on a call every 2 seconds for them to review an SOP with me. So we just use this exact same system where we have these comments on the side and say, hey, this is not really working well for this particular process. What do you suggest? And then we just go back and forth like a chat right here on the side of the SOP until we decide what we're going to do. And then we go and modify the SOP. So now the SOP becomes our instruction book on a regular basis versus a one-time piece of document that we used to train somebody way back when they started. And now we're doing completely different processes and we're not actually doing the things we needed to do to make sure that all our processes are up to date and they're accurate and they're optimized and they're maximized for the biggest productivity and efficiency in our business. Wow, that's a lot of words. Sorry. But I think you get the point in using these types of documents as living, breathing documents inside your business to help your business grow. So, hope this video is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.